Welcome to the Fierce and Fabulous Duo. I'm Sandra Katina, and I'm here with my co host, Dr. Tony. Today, we're interviewing Bruce Silverglade, the owner of the most famous boxing gym in the United States. I met Bruce last month, and we had an interview, and he introduced me to his boxers and to his trainers, and then I had technical difficulties. And so Bruce was nice enough and gracious enough to redo the interview. Thank you so much.
Of
Great to
course.
see you, Bruce.
Great to be back with you ladies on a nice chilly morning here in New York.
It sure is brisk out there.
Yeah.
Bruce, your family has a 65-year history in boxing. Would you tell us about your father's involvement in the sport and how you became involved in boxing as a young boy and then how it became your career later on?
Sure. Well, I was born and raised in Trenton, New Jersey. My father was the director of health, recreation, and welfare for the city. His specialty, his love was boxing and amateur boxing. So he was quite involved with it. He was with a gentleman by the name of Colonel Don Hull, and they reestablished amateur boxing in Colorado, which is the Olympic Center, and that's where the headquarters for amateur boxing is. So he was quite involved with boxing, and he established the Police Athletic League in Trenton. And the gym, the boxing gym, was located right next door to where I lived. So I was in and out of the boxing gym from a very young age on, and enjoyed it very much. Met quite a few good fighters at a young age, but I went on and went to college. I graduated from Gettysburg College in Pennsylvania. And when I graduated, I decided I wasn't going to do what my dad did. I was going to follow my own footsteps and be my own man. And I was recruited by a company called Sears Roebuck and Company. They're no longer in existence, but when I was with them, they were the number one corporation in the world. So I had a good job. I ended up managing one of their stores. Everything was fine, except I hated what I was doing. I didn't like going in every day and wearing a suit and tie and working very hard for a large corporation. So I contacted my dad. I said, listen, get me involved with amateur boxing. I need a hobby. And I was here in New York. I eventually became the president of amateur boxing in New York. So I was traveling around to the different gyms as a hobby, and I was still making my living with Sears. And one day I was in Gleason's when it was in Manhattan, and I was having coffee with the owner. His name was Ira Becker, and we were good friends. And he just casually mentioned that he was looking for a partner, and I said, "Don't look any further. I'm your partner." The next day I
Mm.
went back to Sears and I resigned and took my profit sharing and bought half of the gym. So that's how I got started with Gleason's.
It's brilliant. You are fortunate to do what you love every day, and you're there from 5 in the morning until 5:30 at night. And you know, everyone should be so lucky.
Mm.
Would you tell us, you have such a varied clientele, everything from amateurs to white collar boxing, women's boxing, uh, professional boxers. Would you tell us about your clientele?
Sure, I love them, and you're right when you say I have the best job in the world because I love it. I do come in early and stay late, 7 days a week, only because I love being here. I have very good employees that work for me. They can run the place, and when I'm not here, I don't feel anything because I know they're taking a very, very good care of the gym. But I have one of the last melting pots in New York City. I
Yeah.
have everybody, a complete diverse group from wealth to education to occupation, and it's just great. But I have people from Wall Street that are multi-millionaires. I have kids from the projects that don't have very much money at all. And as you said, I have children, I have women, I have men. I have 67 nationalities training here. And everybody's doing the same thing. Everybody gets along. There's very, very little problems up here because everybody is doing the same thing. Everybody meets one another. The Wall Streeters come in here and meet people that they wouldn't normally associate with. As the kids from the projects come in and they meet people that they wouldn't normally associate with, and we all meet and realize that we're human beings and we're good people, and we're all doing the same thing. But it's a fun place to see so many different people training and doing the same thing. Mm.
Thank you, Bruce. So
Tony, would you take the next two, please?
yes, yes.
I'm
So
sorry.
Gleason's was one of the first
Thanks.
boxing gyms to welcome female boxers. So can you tell us a little bit about that history, how women started boxing at Gleason's?
Sure. Again, this was back in the 80s, and I was much younger at the time, and my partner, Rebecca, was older. And I found out that it was an age barrier. Anybody that was a little bit older did not want women in boxing gyms or doing anything else. They felt that the women should stay in the kitchen and have babies. But being the younger generation, again, this was in the I came up in the 60s. And the women's revolution was going on. Women were getting into everything. And so it was, to me, it was nothing to see women become police officers and firemen. So I said they should certainly be able to train in the gym. But again, my partner, being a little bit older, was opposed to it. And although we were equal partners, um, my my partner was older than I was, and I was the junior partner. So I sort of acquiesced to what he wanted. But we were having some financial problems, and I kept going over to Ira and saying, "Hey, we need the money. Why don't we let the women train?" When I go to the bank in the morning, we put money in the bank. They don't say, "Is this women's money or men's money?" They just take our money and let us pay some of the bills. And we were always having women in the gym because we were doing so much film work. We've done 26 movies up here. Any TV show that shoots in New York has done episodes up here. So there were always women on the crews, and they always said, "Hey, this is a great workout. We want to do it." And so finally, I convinced my partner Ira to try it. And when we were in Manhattan, we had a much smaller gym than I have today. And so we did an experiment. We closed the gym early 3 nights a week and let the women come in after we got rid of the men because I only had one changing area and one facility. So the women came in and it was a huge success from the beginning. And when we moved in 1986 to Brooklyn, New York, we had a much larger area. So we built facilities and changing area for the women, and it's just been great. They are real tough competitors and hard trainers.
How cool. And in your own experience, Bruce, what unique qualities do women boxers bring to the sport of boxing?
I think right now they're more dedicated. Um, the biggest difference is the women come in and look at the sport as a challenge, where the men come in and look at it as a way to make a living. But most of the women come in, they have good positions already. They have college education. They've played some other sports, and so it's a challenge to them. And they come in and say, "Hey, teach me the sport. Teach me how to box." So it's easier to work with the women because they start at zero and you can train them from the very beginning upward. Whereas the men come in and they're all macho and think they know how to fight or they think they should know how to fight. And it takes us a couple months to break them down, get rid of their bad habits to the point where the women start. So it's easier to train the women, and I think they're more dedicated and train harder than most of the men.
Bruce, you said that a lot of your female boxers started off as dancers and then got into boxing and boxed professionally. Can you tell us about them?
Well, not all of them, but the few that do have dance background perform better. There's really a lot of similarities between dancers and the boxers. Their body shape is the same. They're long and thin. Um, their movement in the ring and the choreography in the ring is much like the dance, and they pick it up faster and move faster. My best female boxer was a lady by the name of Alicia Ashley, who started out as a dancer, and she was in Juilliard. She blew her knee out, and decided she had to find something else to do. So she got into boxing and became, when she was competing, one of the top 5 female boxers in the world. And she is currently in the Guinness Book of World Records as being the oldest professional boxer to win a title. And she held the title when she was 50 years old. And most of it is because of her quickness in the ring and her movements in the ring, all based on her boxing background. I'm sorry, her dancing background.
Fabulous.
Great. So, Bruce, these women tend to be more committed and they don't have the same bad habits maybe as men. They're easier to train. So, tell us a little bit about the transformation you see. Once these women start picking it up, what kind of changes do you see in them?
Well, I do notice also that the women are tough competitors, and they don't like to lose. After a contest, most of the men will go in the center ring and shake hands or hug one another. Many times the women storm out of the ring. They're too upset to go in there and shake hands. So their attitude is a little bit different. But you see a great transformation because, again, the women come in with no expectations, and those that go on to be competitors, um, they improve their body, they improve their self-confidence, they improve their physique. So we teach the women, like we do the men, how to overcome fear, how to overcome the anxiety that you have when you compete. And by doing that, whatever they do in life when they leave the gym, they're better for. If you can overcome your fear and your anxiety, and know how to perform better, and you feel better about yourself, you do better in whatever your profession is.
Your wife, Joellen, is a black belt in karate, a boxer, and an artist, and she owns an art gallery in lower on the Lower East Side of Manhattan. I'd love to hear about her.
Well, she's terrific. She's an excellent artist. She doesn't own a gallery, but she's
Oh,
represented by the gallery on the Lower East Side. It's called Woodward Gallery. And she's been painting ever since the day when she was in college, and she has her degrees and her graduate degrees in art. But she's very dedicated in anything she does. So as dedicated as she is to her art, that's how she is as a competitor. And she started out in karate and became a black belt. And then one of her girlfriends invited her over to Gleason's gym, and she started training here. And now she loves boxing more than she loves her karate. But she's still painting, and she does a wonderful job.
that's great.
Mm.
Excellent. So, Bruce, we're so honored to have the chance to speak with someone who's made history. It's incredible to just listen to your stories. I know Sandra has heard some more of your stories, and we'll be
Thank
sharing
you.
pictures of your gym. So, can you give us contact information and any information on merchandise, any upcoming fights, just so that people can follow you?
Sure. Well, it's easy to contact Gleason's. Our website is gleasonsgym.com. Our email page is info@gleasonsgym.com. We still have a landline telephone for those that are a little bit older, and the number is 718-797-2872. We're in Brooklyn, New York. The city of New York renamed the street after Gleason's gym. So our address is also easy. It's 130 Gleason's Way. And that's in Brooklyn, New York, 11201. But if you ask anyone about Gleason's gym, they know how to get here. The cab drivers know how to get here, and the Uber drivers. And the doors are open for everybody. I'm in a section called Dumbo, and it's a very big tourist area. And so many people come in and just walk around, take pictures, and enjoy the museum of Gleason's and all the fighters. So everybody's welcome. If you want to train here, we certainly would love to have you and work out here. But if you just want to bring a camera and stop in and see a very unusual place, you're welcome.
Oh,
Thank
so
you.
great to interview you.
Well, I hope you come back again.
I plan on coming back. I really miss boxing. I loved it so much. I loved it as much as I loved dance. I was a lifelong professional dancer, and boxing, just loved it. I followed the sport since I was 15. So,
Well, I
yeah.
think you fit right back in. And Tony,
Can you
you
just
get into the United States and back to New York, you have to stop in also.
Absolutely. I'm jealous that I didn't get to
Yeah.
meet you in the flesh, so I will probably not in the winter, but in the summer, I will call up Sandra to take a visit there.
Bruce, can you just tell us a quickie story about one of your favorite professional fighters, famous boxers, before we leave?
Sure, I'll tell you a real quick story about Muhammad Ali. Um, he trained here for his professional career. He started with us when he was Cassius Clay, and prepared for his first fight with Sonny Liston. And when he fought Sonny Liston in Florida and won the title, he came back to New York and changed his name to Muhammad Ali. And as we all know, he became probably the most famous boxer and
Mhm.
also one of the most famous people in the world. So after his career was over, he used to come up to Gleason's a lot, different type of functions. And one day he was coming in to do a photo shoot with a magazine called Vanity Fair. And at this point, he was having a little difficulty walking. And so when his drivers called, I said, listen, come to the side of my building where I have an elevator as opposed to my front door, which are steps. I said, when you come, I'll come downstairs and on the street, I'll meet you and I'll walk you up. So I'm standing on the street waiting for him. His limo pulls up in front, and as he's getting out of the car, there's a young lady walking down the street, talking on her phone. Muhammad Ali walks over to the woman, puts his arm around her, takes the phone out of her hand, and starts talking to the person on the other end of the line. And that's a typical boxer. They're just really great people. But this is Muhammad Ali, the most famous person in the world, just down to earth, loving people.
That's great.
Yeah.
Such a pleasure to see you today, Bruce. Thank you for coming on our podcast.
It's been my pleasure. And again, I hope we can do it again in the future.
Would
Thank
love
you so
to.
much. We appreciate
Yes.
your time. Good luck with your next interview.
Thank you. All right.
Thank you.
Bye
Bye.
bye, ladies.
Bye.
Bye.